What's up guys, welcome to another video. In today's video we're going to take a look at the ATI Radeon X600. Now first of all, I want to apologize for the amount of games that will be featured on this card in this video, because it's not going to be a lot. I'm not going to mention how many it's going to be, but they're not going to be a lot of games, and that's because I'm not that big of a retro gamer yet. So I'm sorry about that. I hope you can cope with that. You could list a game that could run on this down in the description. I could test it, and maybe I could make like a part 2 out of this if you guys end up liking this video. But yeah. Second thing is I'm putting more effort in this video than the last video I recorded. Because the last video I recorded, I will not mention what it's called yet because I didn't upload it yet. But the last video I recorded was a big, unprepared, really big mess. So I do want to put more effort in this video, and yeah, that's basically it. So let's get right to it. So this video card right here is a ATI Radeon X600 Pro, and from what I can tell, this is basically the first lineup of PCI Express cards ever made. I don't know when Nvidia got into it, but yeah, from what I can tell, the ATI Radeon X000 series, so that includes the X300, X600, etc., is the first lineup of video cards from ATI that used the PCI Express connector and interface. No AGP, which was, all the hype back then. And despite that this is one of the first cards ever with PCI Express, this isn't like an 8X card or even a 4X card in like a full-size form factor like the AMD Radeon RX 460 has, which is, a full-size card, but it only has 8 PCIe lanes. No, this is a X16 card. PCI Express 1.0, of course, because it's literally the first lineup of cards from ATI that have that. I don't know if this is the first ever, but from I can tell, it is. Consumer product wise, this lineup is the first PCI Express cards lineup that ATI ever did before Nvidia, from what I can tell, because yeah, I actually don't know what Nvidia did at the point that this card was out. It's like what? GeForce 4 was out at... No, GeForce 4 was already 2 years old at that point. Probably... Oh yeah, Nvidia was doing the FX series, which was still AGP. So there you have that. I actually do have an answer to that. Nvidia was doing FX 5000 series, which was AGP. So yeah, ATI was really ahead with this one. In fact, I think Nvidia even still used AGP for their lineup of cards that came after that, the GeForce 6 series. Well, partially, I think. I'm not completely sure, but the cards that Nvidia made at the point that this card was out were still AGP, so ATI was ahead of its time. This is a pretty weird and very uncommon and very rare variant of the X600 Pro. First of all, this is not a regular X600, which I'll talk about in a little bit. This is an X600 Pro, which is quite a bit better. And this is also the biggest memory variant of this card. If you look at the sticker back here, as you can see, if the camera wants to focus, if the camera wants to focus, there you go. This is a Radeon X600 Pro 256 megabyte TVO. And from what I can tell, I'm not sure what vendor this actually is. We'll launch GPU-Z on the computer soon and see what sub-vendors actually is, because I don't know. I thought this was a Sapphire card, because this does use the same cooler as the Sapphire variant of this card. Let me actually look that up. Yeah, this does use the exact same cooler as the Sapphire variant, but it has a graphics by ATI sticker slapped onto it, and there's no reference card of this model ever made. There was never a reference card, so yeah, maybe this is the reference card. I'm not sure, but from what I can tell, the only manufacturer, the only sub brand, like the only sub vendor that made X600 Pros that were larger than 128 megabytes was Sapphire. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that it's a Sapphire card with like a different cooler on it or something. But yeah. As to how I got this graphics card, I got it at a random thrift shop for I think $2. I think two euros, maybe €2.5. Yeah. But yeah, this is a Sapphire variant of the card from what I can tell. If not, well then I don't know, maybe it is a ATI reference variant then if that somehow exists, but I doubt it. I guess this is just a different cooler, or maybe the cooler was even replaced. I don't know the backstory behind this card. I did restore it. I did restore it and refurbish it in really great shape now. It was pretty darn dusty when I got it. There was a lot of dust stuck in the cooler because this uses a you know, translucent cooler, transparent cooler. You can see through the fan blades, so you know you can see dust really well and stuff. I took apart the entire cooler, took the cooler off, and I cleaned it, and it looks really nice now. The fan is super annoying, and it's always running at full speed. So yeah, I apologize for the noise in this video, because this thing is really loud, and you cannot adjust the fan. But yeah, I replaced the thermal paste, which still looked pretty okay. It wasn't dry actually. It was really liquidy still. I never replaced it. Maybe it was replaced by the owner at some point. You can't see the temperature of this card, and I highly doubt that it was overheating either, because the only time that this card has gotten really hot so far is when I blocked the fan, because it got so annoying that I just stopped it. Maybe someone can give me a link to somewhere where I can buy a replacement fan for this, because that would be really great. But this card is really scarce, and this card is really rare. I cannot find a single picture of this exact card with this exact cooler on it online anywhere. So yeah, that I have a pretty unique X600 Pro, which is nice. The only thing I just really hate about it is the fan. The fan is just completely ruining this card. It's so loud and so annoying that, oh my god, I swear. But yeah, I took apart the cooler, took out the fan, I cleaned it completely. It was really dusty for such a little cooler. I replaced the thermal paste with a thermal pad, and it transfers really well actually. So yeah. What I suspect is that the TVO on the sticker here stands for TV out, because, well, yeah, that's a TV out port, which is very useless to me. Rather give me DVI. Looking right here, I'm looking at a reference picture of this card, and that one does have DVI, and that one also has TV out. So this is missing the DVI, which kind of sucks, but I guess it's fine. I can live with that. I mean, it's a retro card either way. All the capacitors look really good, which is nice to see, because I took a look at a GeForce 4 Ti 4200 card a while ago that I wanted to buy, but the cooler was completely stuck, the fan was completely stuck, it needed replacement, and the cooler actually broke off later, and all the capacitors were bulging. Like, pretty much all of the capacitors were bulging. So it's nice to see that on this card from a very similar age, that this one is in such great shape and none of the capacitors are bulging at all. So yeah, this is a great condition X600 Pro. So now that we know this card by now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare this card. We're going to revisit this card with its performance by putting this in a computer and comparing it against its mobile variant. So yeah, I've talked you through this thing now. Now I will take a look with you at our second device with a X600 in it that I will be comparing this with. And don't worry, I'll talk about everything we're going to do later. Ooh, jump cut. This right here is my Acer Aspire 1800 from 2004, a mobile, well, not a mobile workstation, a desktop replacement laptop from 2004. This really beefy fella has an X600 Pro in it. Oh, it's so heavy. As you can see from the sticker, that says ATI, graphics by ATI Mobility Radeon X600, and it even says it on the sticker right here that it's PCI Express, and it's twice as fast as AGP graphics, enhance your visual experience, blah 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 blah. So yeah, this is what we're also going to use. This is the mobile version of the X600 Pro that I just mentioned. Why is this the mobile version of the X600 Pro and not an X600 non-Pro? I'll talk about that in a little bit. But this variant of this mobile GPU has 64 megabytes of VRAM. Yeah, that's not as much as the 256 megabyte variant that I have of the X600 Pro right here. And that's why I think this is going to be a really interesting comparison, because this is the mobile version of the card, except it has way less VRAM. There was a 128 megabyte option for this laptop where you could put, where you would have 128 megabytes of VRAM instead of 64, but this is the base model of this laptop. And I'll talk about the specs and everything else in a little bit, but that's just the graphics card part of this laptop and why I want to compare the X600 Pro in a computer with this laptop's mobile version of that card with just 64 megabytes of VRAM, and I'm really interested in how that's going to be. And now I'll talk about the part what I just mentioned. Why is the X600 mobile version based on the X600 Pro and not the X600 non-Pro? Well, if I let you guys take a look at the Tech Power Up page, this is the ATI Radeon X600 non-Pro, based on the RV370 GPU with 4 pixel shaders, 2 vertex shaders, 4 TMUs and 4 ROPs, with 256 megabytes of memory on DDR, with a 128-bit bus width. So what they called this back in the day, back in 04, they basically called this X600 the slightly beefier variant of the X300, because the X300 desktop was basically the same as this X600, except the X600 that I'm showing you right now has 128-bit bus width instead of 64. So yeah, that's basically the main difference between a Radeon X300 and an X600 non-Pro, just stock desktop card, which is, I don't know, I find that a bit odd, a bit useless that the X600 even exists then. But yeah, blah 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 blah. But if you take a look at the mobile version of the X600 that I just showed you on that Acer laptop, this is based on something whole different, the M24 graphics processor with 4 pixel shaders, all the same stuff as the X600. But 128 megabytes of VRAM standard, well, Acer cut it down to 64 megabytes to, adjust the price of that thing because it's a base model. Also 128-bit bus width. But I can, if we go down all the way, so you're probably thinking, well, this is based on the X600, right? No, this is not. This mobile version of the X600 is not actually based on the X600, but instead based on the X600 Pro. And I'll show you why right now. If we go all the way down on this page, it says M24 GPU notes, desktop variant RV380, codename Vishnu, smart shader, blah 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 blah. Well, yeah. You see that? Desktop variant is R380 and the codename is Vishnu. If we go to the X300 and scroll all the way down, you see mobile variant M22. And the M22 is basically the ATI Radeon X300. Based on the X300. Yeah. Codename Harry. Also codename of the X300. So, yeah. This is a whole lot different. This doesn't solve the puzzle. This is just another piece of confusion. Because the X600 non-Pro is literally just based on the X300. And the mobile version of this desktop card is the Mobility Radeon X300. Because that one has the M22 chip in it, which is weaker than the M24. So, and if we go to the X600 Pro, we scroll all the way down, RV380 GPU notes, mobile variant M24, codename Vishnu. Going back to the Radeon, Mobility Radeon, mobile variant RV380, codename Vishnu. So yeah, That's kind of funny. I think that's really odd, but that just goes to show that the mobile card that I just showed you is based on the X600 Pro and not just the X600. And that's just the reason why I think it's such an interesting going to be such an interesting comparison to compare this X600 Pro against its mobile variant with a severely cut down VRAM. In fact, I'm actually kind of surprised Acer got away with just 64 megabytes, but I'm not going to be the judge of that. So, I'll show you my test rig for this card and the 3 games that we're going to test on this. So let's get right to that. So this is our test rig. This is my first gen i7 computer. So this is basically a Gigabyte P55 UD6 motherboard, top of the line motherboard from 09, with a Intel Core i7-870 in it, which is the second best i7 from that time. The best one was the 880, but that one is incredibly rare. So yeah, I had this overclocked, but I'm honestly just going to run it stock because this is super overkill. We have 16 gigabytes of Vengeance LPX RAM, and this will be running Windows 7 on a 180 gigabyte Intel SSD. And for this card, I'll be using the Vista drivers, as there are literally no Windows 7 drivers for this. People said in forums and stuff, yes, there is a Windows 7 driver for the X600 Pro. I can't find any, and I just downloaded the latest drivers for this card off of the AMD website, and those correspond to Windows Vista 64-bit. But they work fine, and that's what matters. Everything works fine. Catalyst Control Center works, overclocking works, everything works. So yeah, despite being meant for Vista, these drivers on Windows 7 do completely fine, and that's exactly what I'll be using with this card. And now we're ready to rock on the X600 Pro with this computer. Games wise, I will use this 320GB external hard drive that I have with Far Cry on it, Half-Life 2 on it, and Quake 3, which are the 3 games that in my opinion you would have run on a X600 and X600 Pro, because these are cards from 04, Half-Life 2 is from 04, Quake 3 is quite a bit older than that, but that would have still been a very popular game back then. Far Cry is a bit newer, but I'm still really curious how it runs, because it runs really well from my experience on cheaper cards like the 8400 GS from Nvidia, or like an 8600 GTS or the 8800 GT, legendary cards, 8800 GT. So yeah, in my opinion, it's pretty good optimized for weaker cards and stuff. Same about Half-Life 2 and stuff like that. It's very wide range of hardware that you can run those games on. So those are the 3 games that we're going to run on this. And for the laptop, we will of course be using the operating system that it came with, which is Windows XP Home Edition 32-bit, which is the best operating system for this laptop. So yeah, this thing will have a VRAM, advantage, because Windows XP doesn't have Aero like Windows 7, and it's really going to be putting less strain on the GPU Windows itself. But in my opinion, it deserves that. I mean, for the absolute fairest comparison, we could have put Windows 7 on here, but then it would have been 64 bits. It doesn't have enough RAM for that, only 1 gig, and it would have run absolutely awfully. So it would not have been worth it. So we're just going to run Windows XP 32-bit on here with those 3 games, of course. Well, I've tried to get the lighting as best as I could, and I cannot get it any better than this. So I'm sorry about the angle, but this is as good as it gets. So let's get started. I'll be using a wired keyboard and a wireless mouse for this, so you guys can see it the best without me like reaching like this all of the time to the laptop's keyboard. So finally, we are running this on 1024 by 768, which is in my opinion the lowest acceptable resolution to play old games on, unless it's like super old, like DOS and stuff. But like early 2000 stuff, in my opinion, is acceptable in 1024 by 768, but not lower than that. I've cranked all of the settings since Quake 3 is not a very demanding game anymore at the time that this came out. Should be able to handle this. I have fraps in the corner with the FPS. Yeah, let's get started. Let's see how this runs. Let's see how far we can push this. Of course, this will run pretty darn well with 64 megabytes of VRAM, because you know this is a very VRAM efficient program. This does not take up much VRAM at all, even if you do crank the settings. You can see the exact VRAM usage because I don't have MSI Afterburner on here, but MSI Afterburner stopped supporting XP a while ago anyways because they're stupid. 91 FPS all the time, which is I think the limit of this game. 91 FPS is I think the frame cap of this game. But yeah, all the settings cranked, runs really well. Let's see how let's see if I can get any kills here. Yes, I can. Let's see if we can crank the resolution further. I also adjusted the laptop screen a little bit so you guys can see it a bit better, because it wasn't completely focused on it that well, but it's doing well now. I have no capture card because why would I? And why would I buy one? Because they're most likely not even XP compatible. But yeah, now you guys looking through the viewfinder. I'm playing this not looking at the viewfinder, by the way. You guys can see it fairly well from what I can tell. So yeah. Anyways, let's crank that resolution and see what happens. So let's try 1280 by 1024. Will that even do? Because this is it crashed. Okay, kind of makes sense. Unblock. Yeah, it does run now. Yeah, that issue is because this is I think a 1440 by 900p display. This is a really high resolution panel for the time, and it's not 1024p, and there's no like 900p option, which really sucks. So I guess the highest we can do is 864p. Let's try 864p then. Really freaking weird. Wait, does 1600 by 1200 work? Way too high resolution for this card. No, let's try 11. That does work. It's off center though. Let's see. Can we try 1600 by 1200? No, we can't. So that weird resolution that I just mentioned, 864p, that's the max resolution we can do. So let's run it at that. Let's get a little closer. There you go. So, setup system, yeah. Everything cranked. I mean, this is not going to be great because all the stuff is off center. Still runs with 91 FPS, probably all the time. Everything is off center. I cannot see things well because this is a really weird resolution for the time that this laptop runs at, which is 900p. I just don't know if it's 1600 or 1440 by 900p. So yeah, but yeah, this runs really well. 91 FPS all the time, just capping out the game. That's great. So this weaker. Well, it's not that well. This card runs it well, despite having like what 4 times less VRAM, something like that. It has a lot less VRAM, 64 megabytes as opposed to 256. So for Quake 3, absolutely completely fine. No complaints. Runs really well. Will run completely fine. It's great for that kind of stuff. So let's move on to the next game. And I can confirm that this is a 1440 by 900 display, so not 1600. So our next game is Half-Life 2. And if we go to video, we are running this at 1024 by 768. We can also do, well, we can't do native. That's the thing. This is an incredibly weird resolution for the time. Highest we can do is that weird ass 864p resolution. So we're just going to run this at 1024 by 768. Let's go show that this is not a very good gaming laptop because, well, yeah, it has that issue with the resolution. The screen resolution is really weird. It's 1440 by 900, and the games at the time just can't run at such a resolution. I do know that it does. Well, actually, hold on. I'm speaking shit again. If we change this from widescreen, well, normal actually. What if we run this at widescreen 16 by 10? Can we run it at full resolution then? Didn't do anything. Yes. Okay, so let's try native resolution. I've put everything to medium settings basically. Oh boy, that's 64 megabytes of VRAM is really going to be pushed here. Even with the settings set to normal, I don't think this is going to go great. Because it's running at the full resolution. It's just set to medium, so yeah. Let's see. And I'm sorry if this laptop ever has flickering issues where the screen goes dimmer and brighter, because it has charging issues. Ooh, that's great. We're running at 93 FPS on the starting place. But yeah, don't get to it. Yeah, okay, now, oh. Okay, that's not too bad. Oh boy, we do have those awful dips though, where the VRAM runs out, isn't it? Ooh. That's playable. That's playable so far. I like it. Maybe we should lower the resolution and up the graphics a bit, see what happens then. Maybe I'll completely, you know what, why not completely crank the settings when I run this at 1024 by 768, because this is already kind of impressive to me. I mean, when we get outside, which is right now, it will completely dip to pieces, I'm sure. Yeah, okay, this is where it completely suffers. Ooh, slideshow. 20 FPS. Yeah, this card was never meant for this resolution. I actually blame Acer for this. I don't think this graphics card was a very good choice for this laptop. Maybe they should have chosen the ATI Mobility Radeon X600 for this, if that exists. I'm going to assume it exists. Let's wait for the train. Oh wow, this does not feel good. This feels really sluggish. Oh my gosh, that does not make it fun. Okay, we need to escape quickly. Let's see, how much will it dip with that robot thing when we attack it. Oh, 15 FPS. Okay, that's not great. Oh, there's so many dips. Okay, so it's alright, but it's not great at all. It's okay, but it's nothing more. It runs surprisingly well until a lot of stuff is going on. So, what happens when we wait? So wait, let's try a new game. Exact same spawn points, and let's just try completely maxing this thing out at 10 at oh oops, we're gonna go back to 4x3. I cannot see things so well, by the way, because it's at the viewfinder and I cannot see things so well because of that, because the screen viewing angle kind of sucks. I hope it's still in focus. 1024 by 768. Let's completely crank everything. Man, I'm going to be really surprised if this runs with anisotropic 16x turned on. But yeah, this is everything completely cranked. Let's go. Alright, so we are at 44 FPS on the spawn frame, which is not great. Okay, yeah, this is too much. This is way too much for it. Okay, I'm not even gonna try because it's really stuttery. Alright, let's try medium settings once again. Alright, so I've done a mixed bag of high and medium graphic settings here at 1024 by 768. And it's okay. I mean, this is not a real gaming laptop, is it? It was more of a desktop replacement that happens to be, you know, you could game on this. You know, it just happens to have a decent video card that you could game on. But I'm really curious how that extra VRAM will hold up on the X600 Pro. But yeah, this runs okay, but the occasional stutters are very noticeable and they're not that nice. Maybe with VSync, this can be fixed just a little bit because there's a VSync option in Half-Life 2. Maybe that makes it a bit smoother, but it's not like anti-aliasing issues. It's just with, you know, jagged edges. I'm talking like actual stutters, probably from just the VRAM, the VRAM running out. So yeah, that's it for Half-Life 2 on this. Now, for this last part, running Far Cry, I will kind of skip this up a bit, because this video has been going for incredibly long already, and we've not even gone through this laptop yet. So what I've done is we're going to run this at 1024 by 768, and we are going to do the medium preset, which it's already set to. Over 200 FPS in the menu, but that makes sense. Let's see, let's just run this. I'm pretty sure it's already set to medium. I'm pretty sure it already saved those settings when I already applied these settings before recording, so I'm pretty sure that it's just going to work. I think it has already set the graphics to medium because it saved that in the game. But yeah, let's wait for that to load. Oh wow, it's not doing great at all. 25 FPS. Now I actually forgot to mention the laptop specs, but it currently has a, well, as you probably already saw from the sticker. I showed you the sticker of this laptop, you know, in a little part of this video. But this thing has a 2.93 GHz Pentium 4 non-hyper-threaded, 1 core 1 thread, with, well, a gig of RAM, like I just mentioned. So yeah, sorry I didn't mention the CPU. But now you know, in case you're still watching. So yeah, this does not run well at all, and it also looks really bad in my opinion. Oh well, actually I spoke a little too soon. It's okay, but it's not great. I've run this on an 8800 GT. I've run this on a whole bunch of cheap NVIDIA cards from S7, 08. And this is a very well optimized game, as you can see right now. You need to press the control button. There's an unskippable bug in this game, in this version of this game that I have though, which kind of sucks. But yeah, it's okay. I don't mind this. I wouldn't put it any higher, but you know, you always could. For funsies, I will completely put this on ultra, because you know, why not? Why not just milk the VRAM? I cannot even get out of here. Why can I not get... Oh, V. Oh, it's V. Yeah, I cannot see the screen so well, because you guys are enjoying the screen. I'm not. I can barely see things. Oh, wow. Looking outside, it doesn't look too bad. I don't know much else to do here, apart from just walk around, but... It's acceptable. It's not too bad. It will do. So... I've completely cranked these settings, even the ultra high settings, everything is completely cranked at 1024 by 768. I'll quickly test this and then we'll move on from the X600 Pro. It's just for funsies, honestly, this little last part. Though I am pretty curious how this will run. Oh boy, 12 FPS on the little starting point. Can we not just up the brightness? No, we can't. Oh, wow. Oh, you cannot skip that. Well, 20 frames per second is what you're going to get. Oh, 50. Ooh, oh, major drops. You see, this is the exact same issue that we had in Half-Life 2. In light parts, it's playable, but when you get into heavier parts, it drops so incredibly far. So the 1% lows and the 0.1% lows are going to be awful because of that VRAM. Look, we got 50, now it's 40, it's all over the place. because there's just not enough VRAM. Well, that's what we're going to find out if this doesn't have enough VRAM. Maybe this does. Maybe the M24 is just an absolute piece of shit. Who knows? But so far this doesn't run so well. But yeah, that's basically the mobility Radeon X600. I'm going to shut this down now. Oop, terminal. Conclusion, it's alright. It's not the best. It's not a very gamery card, but it's, oh my god, so much better than the integrated graphics would have been. In fact, the chipset of this laptop doesn't even support integrated graphics. So yeah. Anyways, it's alright. It's not too bad. You can run older games on this, 98 games, that sort of stuff, completely fine. But you will be held back by the VRAM quite a lot. If you had the 128 megabyte version on this laptop, 128 megabyte version, VRAM version with this on this laptop, it would have been quite a bit better. Probably, yeah. But yeah, conclusion, it's fine. It's not bad. It's okay. It's a little bit surprising in some areas, but it's pretty regular. It's not too unusual from what I can tell. So yeah, let's move on to the computer. So here we are. Let's log in. I've already had fraps in the background. I've changed the lighting again. I've opened the curtains and stuff. I had to change the lighting on the, for the laptop because the display is so freaking dim. Because it's such a large panel, etc, etc. But yeah, now we're going to move on to the X600 Pro, and let's get GPU-Z on this to see so that I can find out the sub vendor of this. Nope. But as you can hear in the background probably, the fan is incredibly annoying. So, as you can see, if it wants to zoom in, well, does it want to zoom in? Oh, it does want to zoom in. This is a Sapphire version of the card, or PC partner, but it's definitely not a PC partner. I can tell you that. I'm pretty sure that this is not a PC partner. But yeah, 256 megabyte of DDR, and it runs completely fine. 128-bit bus width. It runs in PCI Express X16 1.1 mode, which is interesting. This is a 2.0 slot. 110 nanometer. Oh, that's funny to me how far we've come. But yeah, it runs completely fine. Oh, the fan has quieted down a little bit. If we go into MSI Afterburner, we cannot overclock. So yeah, but it does work. We could run, we can just run MSI Afterburner instead of fraps. So there's sadly no way we can see GPU usage, which is kind of weird to me, but we can see VRAM usage and CPU usage, but that's, not important for this video. But yeah, let's run those games. Oh man, this monitor is so much better than the laptop screen. The laptop screen was awful. You can just see on the camera too. The colors just absolutely pop on this amazing Samsung monitor. Let's see, can I get this a little bit better on screen? Yes, there you go, it's perfect. So, going on to setup and system, let's run this at, we can run this at any resolution this time, which is good. Let's run this at 1024 by 768 with everything cranked, because, that's what we want. Trilinear, not bilinear, trilinear, everything completely put to the max. 91 FPS in the menu, of course, because, let's go. Oh, the screen isn't completely auto adjusted. There you go. 91 FPS all the time. Oh, we actually have some CPU usage. That's funny. And we're already using more than 64 megabytes of VRAM, as you can see. Yeah, that kind of speaks for itself right there. That's why this card is so much better than the X600 mobility in the Acer. But yeah, this runs super fluid, super smooth. Same amount of FPS as on the last one. Let's try completely cranking it. Once again. Oh, it's already cranked. Well, let's try completely cranking the resolution then. This has no 1050p option, which kind of sucks. 1280 by 1024. Let's try that. Oh, audio adjust, please. There you go. Still 91 FPS, and we're using around 100 megabytes of VRAM. That makes me sad. Because that means that for Quake 3, the 128 megabyte VRAM variant, the higher end version of the laptop I just showed you, would have run this a lot better. But yeah, this runs great. No complaints. This runs really freaking well. Let's move on to the next game. Alright, so for Half-Life 2, we'll do exactly the same like we did on the laptop. 1024 by 768 medium settings first. Alright, so these are the settings I'm going to use, which is pretty much medium. We're already using pretty much 128 megabytes of VRAM, which is funny. Oh wow, that laptop held up a lot better than I would have thought. Oh my god, we're over the 128 mark. I mean, sure, this is... Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. Almost 200 FPS at the spawn point. Holy freaking crap. Can you see how much difference that makes? Holy shit, that's outrageous. What did we get on the Acer? Like, what, 70? Something like that? Holy shit, man. That's like more than a 2x difference. But yeah, can you see how much of a difference that makes? You can pretty much play 120 hertz. You can put like a 120 hertz monitor to this with this game, at least on the spawn point. But even with Windows 7, which is I have arrow turned on here, to give the laptop some, better chance at this. I have turned on arrow in the background, which Windows 7 Arrow already takes up around 64 megabytes of VRAM on its own. So, yeah, that's why I did that, just to give the laptop some more advantage, but damn, this monitor is so much better. Samsung Sync Master 205BW, best monitor ever. But yeah, you guys can barely see it due to the reflection. There you go, maybe that's a little bit better. I hope so. Yeah, that's good enough. You'll get an idea of this. 200 FPS we just hit. Yeah, man, this is great. What the hell, man? But yeah, even with Windows Arrow turned on, this has an amazing difference to it. This is not bad at all. This is pretty great. Even in this heavy area where, oh my goodness, it kills the laptop. 60 FPS even in the harshest area. Holy shit. Oh, wow. That's not bad. That's... Wow, damn. That's perfect. Not bad at all. 66. Let's wait for that train. We can't see GPU usage, but I can pretty much guarantee you this is just completely maxed out. Oh, oops. Come on, get up there. See the CPU usage? It's doing absolutely nothing, that i7. But yeah, this is perfect. I have no complaints about this. This is really nice. I did not even expect this to run so well. Maybe the R3 380 is actually better than... well, I could actually play this game like this. Maybe the R3 380 is better than the M24. I mean, of course, the M24 has a reduced TDP because it's a laptop chip. The TDP of this X600 Pro is 36 watts, which is really absolutely nothing. But I have no idea. The TDP is unknown on the laptop's GPU, because of course, but I'll guess something like 20 watts. But yeah, let's try completely cranking everything. Alright, so now we are running at... Oh, it's suffering. Not even all the VRAM is used though. Can you see? We have 256, we're using 245. Oh, it's suffering incredibly bad. This is everything cranked. In fact, this is similar to how the laptop did this. This is slowing down incredibly much. We're having a lot of anti-aliasing hitches. And wow. Yeah, ugh, that's not great. I'm not even going to try full resolution because this is not doing well. I mean, FPS wise, it's okay, but the stuttering is awful on this card. Even on the laptop. On the laptop, it was actually slightly less bad in my opinion than this. But yeah, we're using almost all of the VRAM, and this is where the chip just suffers. This is where the chip just comes to its knees. It's not doing well. But yeah, that's the conclusion on Half-Life 2. Really impressed with how it ran in the first little part, but it does not run in absolute max settings. You can't. You cannot run this on max settings with Half-Life 2 at 1024 by 768 because it will just simply not like that. So, is this a upgrade over the laptop's GPU? Absolutely, but I'll talk about that more in a bit. Alright, so we're going to do it exactly the same way as on the laptop. Medium preset first at 1024 by 768, and after that we are going to run, oh oops, yeah, blah blah blah, no one cares. Oh, oops. At the end, we will run this at 1024 by 768, except everything cranked. I'm not going to put the resolution any higher than that, because in my opinion, 1024 by 768 is the most attractive resolution for this card. In fact, it was orange on 480p on Tech Power Up, as you probably saw at the beginning of this video. So I don't know what resolution this card was made for. Oh wow, that's bad. That's really bad. What the actual frick? I'm running this at 1024 by 768 in medium settings. How is it so bad currently? Let's see. I'm really curious about this. 41 FPS. Are we running at like full resolution or what? No, 1024 by 768. This is not great. I expected a little bit more here. In fact, I expected quite a bit more. That's odd. The laptop did this better in my opinion. The laptop had the same, big dips. There are no anti-aliasing issues so far. But the laptop had the same dips, but this is not doing better. This is not doing much better. I guess this is more of a, I don't know, architecture intensive game then? I'm not sure, but this would not have been so nice for Far Cry. I guess Half-Life 2 is just incredibly optimized so freaking well. And in my opinion, Half-Life 2 is more fun than Far Cry, because there's like a point in this game where you get stuck and you can't get out without like a bug fix, and it's really annoying. But yeah, this runs okay-ish, I suppose. Let's try Ultra settings, everything cranked. Alright, every graphical setting is cranked, still running at 1024 by 768. This is the absolute last thing we're going to try on this before I come to the conclusion of this video. 18 FPS in the little spawn part this time, 30. Let's wait for the intro to end. Ugh! Oh gosh. That's not great. Oh yeah, this is straight up unplayable. Ugh. Yeah, too big. The drops are too big. But what I can tell is the drops in FPS are a lot less bad than on the laptop. They are really bad, true. But they're not as bad as on the laptop. On the laptop, they were so incredibly noticeable. You could just feel the VRAM suffer because it was so full, so used. But yeah, this runs. Yeah, this is not great. This is not playable. I wouldn't call this playable. Yeah, I also saw a review on this graphics card where it also said this is not good enough for Far Cry. You would have to get like a GeForce 6600, which I have no clue how good the GeForce 6600 is, because I don't have a 6 series card. But yeah, that's basically it. That's all the games. That's the X600 Pro. So there you have it. The ATI Radeon X600 Pro. This thing is barely warm at all, despite that we couldn't see the temperature. It wouldn't be very exciting anyways, because we just put it to its paces, and it's barely even warm. So, yeah. Temperature-wise, it's great. Of course, because the fan is really freaking loud, always running full speed. But yeah, the conclusion here. Which one did you like more? Let me know down in the comments. The laptop with its ATI Mobility Radeon X600 with 64 megabytes of VRAM, or the X600 Pro. Do you think this has a noticeable FPS gain over this? I personally think yes. This card is definitely worth it. It has a lot more frames per second, so much more VRAM, so much more, power to it, to the chip. It's great. It's quite a lot better. It's so much better. In fact, it's pretty crazy. I did not expect this at all to run Half-Life 2 so well at medium settings at 1024x768. And of course, in my opinion, it's kind of unacceptable. I'd want to, run Half-Life 2 at full resolution, and if I'd want, a perfect retro gaming card, I would also run Far Cry at, high preset at 1024x768, maybe 1280 by 1024. So, a GeForce 8600 GTS is more ideal for me than this card, because this is a bit too weak in my opinion. And I do have a suspicion why these cards are so rare and not sought after, and no one, makes a video about them, because these are PCI Express. These are really, these have weaker performance than, something like a Radeon 97. Well, this is equivalent to a 9700, but something like a Radeon 9800, which is AGP, that thing is better than this card. But this just uses such modern interface. You wouldn't put this in any modern PC at all. In fact, a Core 2 Duo computer would already benefit so much more if you'd put a 8000 series card in there, or a 9000 series card from NVIDIA over this. So yeah, the interface is the main thing on this thing that just really holds it back, because yeah, it's kind of odd. It's not that powerful, but it does use the new interface. It's really odd. And I can see why people didn't like these that much. But in my opinion, this card is fine. It's fine. I'm going to keep this, absolutely. It's a funny, collection piece. It's not too bad. It's not a GT210 or something. It's not awful. It's not an X300. It's an X600 Pro. As for the laptop, well, I will always keep this thing because I paid a lot for it and it's pretty nice. I paid like $25 for this old ass thing. Don't remind me of that. But the laptop, it suffered. It suffered just like I expected, but it's still acceptable in my opinion. The laptop didn't do so well, but I'm not really going to blame it. It did slightly better than my expectations told me. But it also had very expected lag spikes where the VRAM usage goes up, and it just, it wasn't so great, but it did surprise me, even looking back at the X600 Pro benchmarks, how much higher the VRAM was in all of the games than 64 megabytes is insane how much advantage those games take of 256 megabytes. In fact, I think 256 megabytes for this card is perfect. That's the perfect amount. You really shouldn't skimp below 128. In fact, I have a GeForce FX 5500, which has 256 megabytes of VRAM, and in most cases that card is so weak it can't even utilize the 128 megabytes in games. So yeah, that has an excessive amount of VRAM, which I thought that would have kind of been the situation with the X600 Pro right here, the one right here, where I thought, this is probably another, like, I don't know, RTX 3060 12 gig situation, or a FX 5500 256 meg situation, where they've given a weak chip so much VRAM and it can't take advantage of it because it's too weak. But no, in my opinion, this is perfect. This thing is the perfect version of this card because it does take advantage of it. If we looked at Half-Life 2 with everything cranked, and it almost used all of the VRAM at 1024x768. So it's absolutely good job, Sapphire. Really nice card. Really good job done. no excessive VRAM thing. No, it's fine. It's completely perfect VRAM wise, and I'm happy with that. That this is not a 128 meg version. On the laptop, I am honestly sad that it's not a 128 megabyte variant, but you know, it's a base model of this laptop. All the other ones were better than this, so yeah. But this was a incredibly expensive, like what, $1,200 desktop replacement laptop. I think even slightly more expensive than that. But yeah. Anyways, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I've put so much effort into it, so please like and subscribe. I don't like saying that, but I really appreciate it, and I also appreciate it so freaking much if you've made it this far. Seriously, love you if you've made it this far. Wish you the best. Really hope you've enjoyed this video. I've put so much effort into it once again. We did lots of testing. It took so much time to get, you know, the laptop ready with the lighting and, you know, restarting the games all the freaking time. But it all went well. So, yeah, I'm really happy about that. Most importantly, have a great day. Really hope you enjoyed this video and see you all in the next one.